Welcome into Yahoo Sports Daily. Happy Thursday. I'm Caroline Fenton. He is Justin Walters in for Jason Fitz today. And while we wait for the decision, or at least this version of the decision, it's almost football season, and football season is among us. So football is where we start. There's been recent talk on social media. And Justin, when I see this kind of chatter happening on social, I know we need the ball to just go ahead and get kicked off because we're starting to get into silly season here. But there's been some chatter about Joe Burrow's lack of late game success. You see this tweet right here on how he stacks up against other NFL top quarterbacks, elite quarterbacks in the NFL in late game situations. Now, Scott Kasmar, who started the recent dialogue around Burrow, even said that Mahomes, Allen, and Lamar are in a separate upper tier than Joe Burrow. So do you agree with that? Do you agree that Joe Burrow does not belong in the same tier as Mahomes, Allen, and Jackson?
Vehemently disagree. Burrow should be invited to the dance. The NFL has a big four. Add Burrow to that list. But if we're going to entertain what Scott has put out there, let's start first with what we just saw with the big three. The last time I checked, as you're looking at this graphic, there are only two quarterbacks that have been to a Super Bowl that are showed. And if we're going back to the big three, there's only one quarterback from that list that has made it to the Super Bowl. That'd be Patrick Mahomes. Burrow has shown his elite status time and time again. And if you want to go back to also the first tweet that he had about those numbers, it's a very weird metric because when you look at what Mahomes has done in one possession games, even going back to 2024 and throughout his career, he has an exceptional record. Specifically in 2024, he was undefeated, 12-0. 8 minutes, a lot can happen, and so many other things have to be factored into this. How's the defense playing? And we know of the four teams or of the four players on this list, it's safe to say that Burrow probably has the worst defense, specifically when it comes to the big four, but easily Burrow should be in this conversation. He is exceptional. Go back to his time at LSU. He has Jamar Chase. He has T. Higgins. I was at that Super Bowl, Caroline, when they narrowly lost to the LA Rams. If not for Aaron Donald just being exceptional at everything that he does on defense and coming down to the last few possessions, specifically the last few plays of that final drive for the Bengals almost won it. Almost isn't going to get you a Super Bowl, but he has been to a Super Bowl in crunch time. He makes defensive coordinators cry.
Yeah, look, Joe Burrow is a certified winner. And if you want to tell me that of those four, you think Joe Burrow is fourth of the four, that's fine. Like, I think that between those four quarterbacks, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, you can slice and dice it however you want. You can rank your top four however you want. But I think it's indisputable that those are the top four, that Joe Burrow is elite. And I know that you can use well, Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl kind of argument whenever we talk about quarterbacks who have gotten their teams to Super Bowls. But Joe Burrow was the captain of that ship. And there is absolutely no denying that. That the Cincinnati Bengals went from an organization that has never won anything in its entire history, the laughing stock, the butt of every joke in the NFL, to all of a sudden a contending team every single year. What was the difference? Joe Burrow. And of course, you bring in Jamar Chase. And of course, you have T. Higgins in that wide receiving core. And of course, Joe Burrow has a plethora of offensive weapons around him. But that doesn't necessarily take away from his greatness, because we can also look at Mahomes and say, well, he has one of the, if not the greatest tight ends of all time, and one of the best coaches in the National Football League. And also Chris Jones on the defensive side of the ball. So, like, miss me with the, okay, but he has great weapons. Every quarterback is going to have great weapons and great pieces around them. But I think what separates elite quarterbacks from great quarterbacks is quarterbacks that can elevate their team night in and night out, play in, play out, down in, and down out. And there is no denying that that's exactly what Joe Burrow did in his second season, getting to the Bengals to the Super Bowl, and continues to do when he's healthy. Now, the health caveat, I think, is an important part of this conversation. But I take issue with that statistic, that late game, comeback statistic. Because,
This is why
sure,
Anna, yeah,
Joe Burrow is on the outside, but yeah, to your point, like that's the problem with analytics. It doesn't tell the entire story because what that doesn't tell me is how many offensive linemen missed a block, how many wide receivers dropped a pass, was there a kicker that missed a kick in a late game situation? Well, that's not Joe Burrow's fault. How many times did was there a Zach Taylor dumb play call, Zach Taylor tactical mismanagement? Because I'm not necessarily the biggest Zach Taylor fan out there. So I think there's just so many more factors, Justin, into this record when trailing in the final 8 minutes. And sure, as a quarterback, wins and losses are a quarterback stat, but there's just way too much nuance that goes into this number and into this analytic.
So much nuance. Let's start first with your point about the analytics. This is the problem with analytics, why some people try to throw these random metrics out here to prove a point. Let's focus on the eye test. When you see this player, do you actually think that they can accomplish X goal? If they are going to do that, they are going to need a great group of receivers around them as well as a solid defense. Burrow doesn't always have everything that is going for him, whether it be some boneheaded decisions by the coaching staff, but also if you look at the organization that he plays for, the Bengals constantly love to cut corners. They love to buy the cheap groceries. Rather than going to a Costco or BJ's, they're going to go to a Dollar Tree and try to make something out of it and say like, okay, this is some off-brand lemonade, and let's piece together some pieces and say that this is going to be serviceable for your team. Burrow has done the best with what has been put out in front of him. Who knows if he ever gets back to the Super Bowl? It's very difficult. You think about Dan Marino, he only got a chance to go to one Super Bowl. Burrow has shown, though, he can win on the road. He was able to win at Arrowhead Stadium and beat Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl. But when you look at all four of these quarterbacks, it's very subjective in terms of what you actually want to take. Some people want Burrow, some people want Mahomes, some people want Allen, some people want Jackson. Everybody has a different skill set. But specifically going back to your question, is he elite? Does he deserve to be in this conversation? Absolutely, he should be invited to the dance.
I think when it comes to the elite conversation, I think about it very similarly to Hall of Fame discussions. That you ask, is this guy in the Hall of Fame? And it just kind of is a vibe of like, yeah, like, oh, yeah, of course. Or, yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of your immediate gut jerk reaction of, is this guy a Hall of Famer or not? I think very similarly about elite. Is this guy elite? It's yes, he is. Or, yeah, no, he's really good. Like, if we're talking about the elite conversation, Jared Goff, is he elite? No, but he's really good. And I think that there's a lot of teams across the National Football League that would do anything for the services of Jared Goff. Baker, probably the same way. Not elite, but I think there's a lot of teams out there that would love to have Baker Mayfield. If Baker Mayfield would be an upgrade from their quarterback situation. If you say, is Joe Burrow elite or not? Yes, he is elite. And it does come from that it factor that you either have it or you don't. The factor of you can put your team on your shoulders in any given situation and you can carry your team to a victory. It's something that Josh Allen does. It's something that Patrick Mahomes does. It's something that Lamar Jackson does. It's the reason why Lamar Jackson is a two-time, could have been a three-time MVP. It's the reason why Patrick Mahomes is a multi-MVP. It's the reason why Josh Allen was an MVP just a couple of years ago. And it's a reason why the Bengals got to the Super Bowl in year 2. Now, look, the Bengals need to do more winning. And Joe Burrow needs to stay healthy. And the Bengals need to continue to put pieces around Joe Burrow to be able to bring out how great he is. Because I'm not going to put lipstick on that pig. It hasn't been great for the Cincinnati Bengals over the last couple of years. Following up a trip to the Super Bowl with back-to-back seasons missing the postseason, frankly, is just not good enough when that guy is your quarterback. But when it comes to elite, absolutely. He's not even just in the conversation. The answer is yes. Joe Burrow is elite. But I want to ask you, if we're looking at those four guys, you're drafting a team from scratch, and you get
Okay.
to pick your pick of the litter. Any of these four guys that you get to start the Fighting Justin football team with. Who are you picking?
We got to work on the name.
The Fighting Justins.
The Fighting Justins. If I get the pick of any person and I'm building my roster out, without a doubt, I'm going to the penultimate person that you see to the far right. And that's my guy, Mr. Action Jackson. I fell in love with Lamar when he was back at Louisville. When we speaking about just raw skill set among these four players, to me, it's undeniable that the most skilled total package quarterback is Lamar Jackson through the air and on the ground. And if you're watching this telling me that, oh, well, Lamar's not good as a passer, really, look at his numbers. No, go back and actually look. Going back to college when he had Bobby Petrino, he actually can pass. He's adapted when Greg Roman was his offensive coordinator, and he's done his best to move and adjust to the different play calling system. And now he has another first year head coach, so he's going to have to adjust again. Over the middle, Lamar is also a great passer, but the person that confuses defensive coordinators, that sickens defensive players, whether it's through the air or on the ground, it has to be Lamar Jackson. The easy answer, of course, is Patrick Mahomes. But if we're talking about building out my roster, I'm going to give Lamar an Andy Reid type of player. I'm going to give him a Travis Kelce. When has Lamar ever had a Tyreek Hill type player? We're speaking about building out a roster, putting the environment around him so he can succeed. Football players, a lot of time, you're a product of your environment. It's very tough. We're just speaking about Joe Burrow. He's going to probably go down as one of those players that may never get a ring because of Patrick Mahomes, who's like Jordan. Lamar Jackson may also be in the same boat, but I'm building out a roster. I'm going to make sure Lamar can succeed. He has had some misses, but who hasn't had mistakes? Look at Patrick Mahomes' very first Super Bowl. The reason why they were
Yeah.
able to win that because it was a great pass to Tyreek Hill in the fourth quarter. But for the first three quarters, he was getting outplayed by Jimmy Garoppolo. But perfect roster, Lamar Jackson's my guy.
That's not a wrong answer in the slightest, because there's no doubt when it just comes to sheer raw talent, Lamar Jackson is up there with some of the best of them. But you said it, it's the easy answer, and it's my answer, and it's Patrick Mahomes. Look, the rings do the talking for him. And does he have great weapons and great pieces around him? Yeah, absolutely he does. But Patrick Mahomes is still that guy that when he looks around and says, "Oh, we need a touchdown drive here," and it's the difference between winning and losing the Super Bowl. I got you. I can put the team on my back. I mean, he can use his legs. He's like a shortstop playing quarterback at times with his sidearm type of throw. I mean, it's just like he can do what not a lot of other quarterbacks can do, and it's doing it himself. Even if it's against elite and great defenses, he can just do it himself. And there is, I think, one stark difference maybe between what Patrick Mahomes has done in his career versus maybe a Josh Allen versus maybe a Lamar Jackson. And Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson have not been able to break through. Now, you can say that's, due to a multitude of factors, and I would probably agree with you that a lot of times when a team loses or when a team can't quite break through, it is due to more than just the quarterback. There are a lot of factors at play here. But you can't deny that Josh Allen has not been able to get to the Super Bowl. And a lot of times it's because he melts down in big moments or in big games. He's not able to elevate his team down in and down out in the biggest games. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. He kind of has built a reputation for not being able to win enough playoff games or playoff games in general. Is that fair or unfair? That's up to you to decide, but that is the truth. Patrick Mahomes has been able to do that. Patrick Mahomes has been able to get not even really great rosters to the Super Bowl. So if you want to pick your pick of the litter, I don't think there's a wrong answer here, but Patrick Mahomes would be my pick.
Let me get your thoughts on this as we're about to close. I think we both agree that Patrick Mahomes is number one of the current crop of quarterbacks. Who's two,
Yeah.
three, and four? What's your ranking?
I would go Josh Allen 2, Lamar Jackson 3, Joe Burrow 4. But the
Okay, I thought you might
margin
go
of
there.
difference is very small. It's razor thin.
Did you have Allen over Jackson before the MVP, or was it after he got the MVP season?
I am trying to think. In the MVP voting, I don't even remember. I think it was maybe I think it maybe if I had a vote, I would have voted
Because
for
Lamar
Lamar.
had way better numbers than him. I felt like it was a Jokic and Embiid situation where, not going to call this a
Yeah.
participation trophy by any means, but the committee or some people are exhausted. We've never seen someone get first team All Pro, that being Lamar Jackson, and not win the MVP.
Yeah, and it's not even just like, oh, since he won an MVP, then he's above him, or oh, just because this, that, or the other. Of course, those things matter, and of course, those things are factors, but it's not the ultimate factor for me. I think it really is just kind of going off of vibe. And especially coming off of last season, the Ravens have a down season. The Ravens missed the postseason altogether. And the Bills were able to win a lot of football games because of what Josh Allen did, because Josh Allen put a Superman cape on so many times and at so many points last season. But if you want to put Lamar above Josh Allen, you're not going to hear too much of a debate or too much pushback from me. We're going to take a quick break here, but coming up next here on Yahoo Sports Daily, all good things have to come to an end. We're talking Boston Red Sox coming up next.
My sister told me, be careful what you wish for because you might get it. I did. And now it's about, well, what goals are, what's left on the table? I want Street Fighter to be a massive success. I want to do more Guile, but also I want to do more film. I want to do more TV. There's seats on, on the Georgia political scene that are open. Is that a road? Or is this the road to stay with something I love so much like wrestling? And I love this. I don't know how I'd say bye to it.
Sharks down 10. Third down and 10 from the 19. Edwards steps up. Now he's in trouble. And Edwards sacked. Back at the 17. And once again, it's Devontae O'Malley. And flipped into the end zone. Touchdown. A thing of beauty. DeLaurent from Murray with a late pitch over the top, end over end. And a Pirates touchdown.
If you are a check writer at one of these places that has achieved success historically in college football, and you are ideologically opposed to your check going directly to Rev, to paying the players, with the ideology of, well, we didn't have to do this back when. When you hear we didn't used to have to do this amongst boosters, go ahead and order the gravestone for your football program.
Still Barnes in there. No Jared Ware on this drive yet. Roberts against the blitz. Goes to the end zone for Keon Williams. Easy as you like. 16-yard touchdown.
There's Keon Williams. Tried to go to him in the last drive on that fourth down play to the end zone. Good defense by Orlando, but that time able to shake free to the corner.
Check out Yahoo Sports' coverage of the Hungarian Grand Prix this weekend. You can watch F1 practice and qualifying coverage for free on yahoosports.com and the Yahoo Sports app. Free practice 1 begins tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. with practice 2 following at 11 a.m. Practice 3 and race qualifying take place on Saturday, July 25th at 6:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The Hungarian Grand Prix itself will stream on Apple TV at 9 a.m. on Sunday, July 26th. For more information, go to yahoosports.com/racing. Back here on Yahoo Sports Daily, speaking of hitting the gas pedal, I like that there, little F1 pun. The Red Sox's super speed of a turnaround has been absolutely remarkable. But yesterday, after taking game 1 of their doubleheader to make it 15 straight, I just want to give that a moment to, acknowledge how insane that is. But unfortunately, all good things must come to an end because the streak ended in the nightcap. After that 15-game win streak, when I feel like the Red Sox captivated the entirety of the baseball world, which is hard to do because a lot of people out there don't like the Red Sox. Did they become the best story in baseball this season, Justin?
I have a twofold answer. And the first answer, it really pains me to say because I am a New Yorker and I am a Yankees fan, but I got to give them their flowers. 15-game win streak, all good things must come to an end. But the first time in 80 years, 15 games in baseball, that is extremely difficult. And then you speak about the storylines of how they got here, firing their manager, Alex Cora. And I don't think that this is an indictment on Cora by any means whatsoever, because baseball is just so unpredictable. The Red Sox are able to pull things around after firing him and win 15 straight games. But if you look at who was in the World Series last year, That was the Toronto Blue Jays in the same division as the Red Sox and Yankees. Right now, they're dead last. This is just how baseball operates. It took a series of miraculous events for the Blue Jays not to win that World Series. The Dodgers were able to dethrone them. So, yeah, the Red Sox are back in the thick of things, and they have a chance to be able to pull things out and hopefully catch up to the Tampa Bay Rays. So, that is, to me, one of the best stories in baseball right now, looking at all the numbers and their turnaround and thinking what they've been able to do because they fired their manager. Now, the second best story, maybe not as sexy, Caroline, it's ABS. Also, give it up to baseball, constantly improving the game and listening to their fans. We want it to be faster. So, what did they do in the past few years? Let's do the pitch clock. They had that, and that certainly was well in the minors, and it seemed to do well in the majors. And now, the strike system, being able to challenge the umpires on balls and strikes, you got to love it because sometimes there are mistakes that happen. And I think that the success rate has been overwhelmingly positive, but this is something that they're trying to do and open to change. And baseball's always been referred to as America's pastime. They're stuck in their ways, but I have to say, kudos to Rob Manfred and the team to say, like, you know what? I think it's time for us to switch up the game. So I think ABS is really good. It can improve, but I do think that that has been one of the better storylines because the vibes right now in baseball are really high outside of the possible strike. But let's not get into that.
That is kind of like the dark gray storm cloud that's hovering over what has been such a fun season in Major League Baseball this year. It's a great call out by you, though. Whenever MLB adopted the pitch clock, I was very against it because I'm kind of a baseball purist. I thought that's gimmicky. Like, this sport doesn't need it. If you can't sit through a 3.5 hour long baseball game, you don't deserve to enjoy baseball. And looking back, I'm thinking, how silly was that? How dumb was that? Because the pitch clock absolutely has improved the game. It's so much quicker. It's so much easier to keep people and fans engaged. No longer are people getting up and leaving in the 6th inning because people can stay because it's not taking 4 hours to finish a baseball game. So when I pushed back against the pitch clock and it turned out to be a resounding success, I was very open to ABS. I thought, you know what? Like, of course, these changes have improved the game of baseball. It kind of brought more casuals into the sport of baseball. Maybe ABS can too. And I am always for improving officiating and improving, umping in any way that we possibly can. When umpires and officials and referees are human, they make human mistakes. So if we can take some of those mistakes out of the game and hold the game to a higher standard, then the game is just better. So I am with you. ABS, I think, has been such a resounding success, so much so that the college game will be adopting it as well. So excited to see how that turns out. Back to the original question, are the Red Sox the best story in baseball this year? They're absolutely up there. I think in the past couple of weeks, it's been so fun. I'm not a Red Sox fan. I still think about the 2004 World Series as a St. Louis fan. Like, I don't really care about the Red Sox. But every morning I would wake up and check my phone. Did the Red Sox win last night? Is the streak going to continue? So it captivated me as somebody who doesn't have any sort of tie or connection to the Boston Red Sox. I would say the Phillies turnaround is also one of the best stories in baseball this year. They start the season 9-19. It was absolutely positively dreadful. They end up moving on from their manager, Rob Thompson. Don Mattingly takes over, and all of a sudden the Phillies are 4 games back of the Atlanta Braves with one of the best records in Major League Baseball. So that's been an absolute blast to watch. I think Jacob Mizorowski has to be in the conversation of one of the best stories in baseball this year. I mean, when you have a guy doing something that we have never seen before, Jacob Mizorowski is hitting 102, 103, 104, 105 consistently. Like, the velocity and just the sheer volume of pitches that Jacob Mizorowski is throwing is unlike anything that we've ever seen. Paul Skeens, I think, took the baseball world by storm for so many years, and it feels like Jacob Mizorowski has almost stolen the spotlight. I think Minnesota Murakami is another awesome story that we've seen kind of rejuvenating the White Sox. The White Sox are important, and the White Sox are relevant. I don't remember. I think maybe the 2020 season was the last time I was able to say that. But there haven't been very many years and very many seasons in my lifetime, Justin, where the White Sox mattered, or the White Sox are actually fun and engaging and, worthy of a conversation. So I don't know if I can say the Red Sox definitively are the best story in baseball this year, But all that little grab bag of stories, I think, have made this season so fun and so intriguing.
Yeah, and another one that we both have spoken about in the past is Scooble trying to go for a
Yeah.
three-peat and coming back from the injury
Yeah.
with Detroit. What are they going to do at the deadline? There's still a possibility, rumors floating that they could try to trade him away. There's so many great storylines, but yes, the Red Sox are certainly up there. But anytime you have a guy that is lighting up the radar gun, that is always exciting for fans because they're locked in. They're like, oh, and then they're looking over, they're like, oh, wow, he hit 102. Now he hit 103. So I think that there are a ton of storylines, but I'm really curious to see how things shake out at this deadline. But the Red Sox definitely deserve all the credit in the world for how they've been able to turn things around. And I still can't believe that the Phillies have a chance now to win that division. But this is once again baseball,
Crazy.
162 games. They started out the season just with 9 wins and nearly 30 losses. And here they are now making an absurd run and probably not the sexiest of storylines. But as a New Yorker, I was also intrigued just to see what the Mets were able to do, just because baseball has shown just because you have the highest payroll, that doesn't guarantee, unless you are the Dodgers, that you're going to be able to make it to the World Series. You mentioned the White Sox, so what they're able to do, the Oakland A's. There's so many exciting storylines, especially for some of those teams that have a lower budget based off of some of the tyrants or the Goliaths of the sport, like the Yankees as well as the Dodgers. The fact that the A's are in the mix, the White Sox are in the mix, like, okay, this is exciting. And even the Brewers, like, this is going to be a fun season down to the stretch. Can't wait for October.
It is fun to see on the heels of the big bad Dodgers conversations, teams that are bottom 10 in payroll in Major League Baseball, all above, not all, but a majority of them are above 500 because we've seen so many of these low payroll teams, draft and develop the right way. So now they have young stars that are on some of those lower end contracts that aren't eating up at a big portion of their payroll, and they're able to overexceed based on expectation or based on payroll, excuse me. One story that we did not mention that is probably getting under talked about is Jordan Alvarez in the season that he is having. He is on track to hit for the Triple Crown. His home run last night was Alvarez's major league leading 34th of the season. He leads Major League Baseball with 77 RBIs while leading the AL in the final Triple Crown category, hitting 328. Believe he and the Astros can ultimately prevail in the AL West here?
First, let's give him the amazing due justice that he's able to possibly even compete for the Triple Crown. It's extremely difficult to get that
Yeah.
honor. I remember when covering Aaron Judge, and he narrowly was able to get it. But that is an amazing feat in itself to be first in those categories or top two in the last one. To answer your question, that's tough. I don't think that they're able to do it. And the reason why is because Houston still has some needs that they need to address at the trade deadline. We'll see how that shakes out. But specifically, when you look at that division and how difficult it is, Texas is going to be getting Corey Seager. They're expected to be buyers at the deadline. Seattle's also very difficult as well. I mentioned Oakland. That is a very tough division. I just don't think that the Astros would be able to ultimately win, but they're definitely going to have plenty of opportunities to make some noise and get a good seeding in the playoffs or postseason.
I'm going to go ahead and apologize to the AL West and AL West fans out there. I think this is the most boring division in baseball this year. When the Rangers are in the
Boring.
top spot in the division and they are 500. Maybe boring isn't the right word, but I view this division as the division that's most likely of any team that wins the division, any team that finds themselves in the postseason in this division, they're not going to do anything in the postseason. Like I just mentioned, the team in the top spot in that division and the Rangers are 500. So it's just a bunch of teams that are at or below 500 kind of jockeying for placement in the division. So can the Astros find themselves in the top spot in that division at the end of the season? Sure, absolutely. Right now, they're only 2 games back. And if Jordan Alvarez continues to, be electric at the plate like he has been, then sure, absolutely, they can find themselves in that position. I just don't think whoever wins that division is going to do anything overly splashy in the postseason. But we
Baseball is a weird sport. I don't know. I don't know. I
it
could
is
see
totally a game of runs, and it's a game of who gets hot at the right time.
it is. I could
But
see them making some noise in the postseason, but we'll see with the division that's meddling mediocrity.
Yeah, exactly. A division of mediocrity, but a division of closeness too. So that does at least, lend itself to some theater there. Of course, all of our eyeballs will be on Major League Baseball this weekend, but also on the WNBA All-Star Game. Zora Stephenson joins the show coming up next to break down all the action.
Who is your breakout candidate for this year?
Kind of think Isaiah Likely with the New York Giants is a really good candidate this year. Kind of wide receiver room that could rotate a little bit and be useful players, but they don't, to me, have one dynamic. Even Fields, who I like, I don't know that he's gonna be like a dynamic guy that right off the bus, round 3 rookie, leads the team in targets. I think that could actually be Isaiah Likely. Tight ends on their second contracts have been good bets to make. I think Likely is a good bet to make this year.
Derby on the ground, a high popper. Puka comes up to get it at the 10. Williams out over the 15 and the 20. Puka Williams is free inside the 10, 5, touchdown, Puka Williams.
When you have one of the best returners in the league, when you have one of the fastest guys in the league, he has been on the verge of returning these over and over in this game. You know how dangerous he is. You've got to have a plan.
How do you feel about the Seahawks skill players at this point in time?
The good part, I think, if you're a Seahawks fan, what you would argue here is that outside of Cooper Kupp, like, everybody should, I think, have another step to take. It's not impossible that JSN does this again, but you bake in some, I'm not like negative against the player, but just a little regression there. The way you offset that is younger guys and other players step up.
Walter Wilbon's on his left hip. White rolls right. White throws deep. White's got a man open. Jamon Street, touchdown, New Mexico. First career touchdown pass for LeJames White, and New Mexico strikes on first down.
Look at him go. Calls for it, fakes the handoff. I mean, textbook QB1 stuff.
Pretty good throw.
Really good.
Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, and Kayla McBride were all reportedly invited to participate in the WNBA three-point contest, but declined. That there from It's Megan L. Hall. And Sabrina Ionescu responded to that and said, "I can't decline an offer I never got officially invited to." So I was pretty surprised to see that. Never got invited. So we got some conflicting reports there on the WNBA three-point contest that'll be going down this weekend on WNBA All-Star Weekend in Chicago. Joining us now to break all of that down is Zora Stephenson, NBC and Peacock reporter and play-by-play broadcaster. Zora, thank you for being here. Always appreciate your insight. We've seen the LeBron Jameses, the John Morants, the Zions of the NBA world all decline the NBA dunk contest throughout the past couple of years. And it does feel like the NBA dunk contest has kind of lost its luster a little bit. Is the WNBA three-point contest going down that same trend?
100% no. No, I do not think it's going down that path. First of all, we did see the clarification from Sabrina Ionescu. She said, "I can't decline an invite I never got." And I love the competitive nature in her. She said, "I always want to go and defend my record and try to break my own record, whether it's at NBA All-Star or WNBA All-Star." Even Kayla McBride said that she felt like her invite wasn't 100%. It was like in a message, between her agent and wasn't necessarily direct. I don't think the WNBA is in the same boat in terms of the stars not wanting to participate in one of the biggest events at All-Star Weekend. And also, what I love about this league is Kayla McBride and Sabrina Ionescu said, let's celebrate the people that are in the three-point contest. When you look at the stats right now in the WNBA and top 5 in three-point makes, 4 of those players are going to be in this year's three-point contest. We have the best shooters in the W going to participate. Marina Mabrey, number 1 in three-point makes. We've got Ryan Howard on the list, Bridget Carlton, Janelle Salon from the Golden State Valkyries, who right now are number 2 in the WNBA in their second years as an expansion team. So I don't subscribe to the narrative and I don't subscribe to anything negative to the W. I think they should just put that out there. So if anyone is going to try to bring down the W and talk about how, it's a lackluster group that's participating this year, I'm always going to find a way to say, hey, like, let's celebrate who is in the contest. And I actually was just in Toronto. I just had the Aces Tempo game on Monday, and Marina Mabrey, kind of just in a conversation with her, was saying, hey, like the premise here is that both Asia and Marina were playing in a game together. And of course, that's two of the three people in the W that have scored 53 points. And she said, I love that Caitlin got 45 the other day. I want someone else to get more than 53 this season. Like, we have the opportunity to bring everybody else up without bringing other people down. You can highlight me without dimming someone else's light. So we can highlight everybody in the 3-point contest and wish them well without saying that it's a lackluster pool just because Sabrina Ionescu's not in it, Caitlin Clark, Kayla McBride. We have some great shooters, including the #1 shooter in the league right now when it comes to 3-point makes, and Marina Mabrey.
Yeah, I love that, Zora. You have to give everybody their flowers as well as uplift each other. The positivity is definitely a great sight to see, especially when everyone is covering the league, but it feels like there's a lot of negative narratives. You mentioned some of the great shooters going on in this league that have been invited. The obvious omission has been Sophie Cunningham. A lot of people thought that she should be a part of the festivities this weekend. Do you think the W made a mistake in not making sure she was involved or invited?
There's always a conversation for a snub, right? Whether it's in the 3-point contest or as an all-star altogether. I mean, you could add Kelsey Mitchell to that list, right? And what she's been able to do this season, not just in scoring, but from the outside. So you're always going to have someone you feel like, and especially as a fan, fans are always going to have people like, why did my player get in? All that kind of stuff. I'm wondering, did she get an invite and it just didn't go the right way? Sonia Citron the other day had an interview that Kathy called the wrong number when telling her that she made the All-Star team this year. I just bring that up. Yes. Apparently, she called Gabby Williams instead. So Gabby Williams sent her a DM and said, hey, Kathy left me a voicemail saying that you made the All-Star team. I think she got the wrong number. And that's how Sonia found out. My point is, and I'm like stirring the pot here. I talk about positivity, I'm stirring the pot. Maybe there was an invite and it just didn't get to Sophie.
We have to do a better job. Save the people the right numbers. Wow, that's a bad look. I didn't see that.
I don't know if it's better or worse that Kathy ended up calling, Gabby Williams another player in the W, or if it would have been better or worse to just call some totally random number of a civilian that gets a call from Kathy Engelbert. Like, wait, I'm going to the WNBA All-Star game.
That would have been a better story, right? Gabby handled it professionally. Gabby kept it between them, and it was Sonia it was on Lisa Leslie's podcast, I believe. So, right, they kept it in the family. If Kathy called a random number, we would have all known by now.
Oh, exactly. And I would hope that person would have gotten, VIP tickets and passes to WNBA All-Star Weekend.
100%.
I know we'll look ahead to All-Star Weekend, but first I have to speaking of giving flowers, Fee her flowers, because she made her season debut last night after recovering from an injury and had a casual 24-point double-double night. How do you put Napheesa Collier and having her return and that kind of night into context for this Lynx season?
Well, the Lynx are already #1 in the WNBA standings without Napheesa Collier. I mean, and so now you add her back to the mix, and in her first game, she does this. I mean, and what I love, she talked about the angst and how excited she was to play. She missed the first 27 games of the season after having surgery on both ankles. It wasn't just one side of her body that had to be worked on, both ankles. And she comes back and she does this. But my favorite part was in her post-game press conference, she said her goals for the day were all defensive. Her and Cheryl Reeve said, okay, let's temper your expectations on the offensive end. Let's make up some defensive goals, of course. A defensive player of the year in the WNBA. That's what impressed me. All the greatness and all the things that she can do on offense. And in her first game back, her goals are on the defensive end. And I'm sure she also surpassed whatever goals she had on offense too. So when I think of Fee, I know the nickname is Queen Fee, I just think of a boss. She is anything you put in front of her, she conquers it. Whether it's on the court, off the court, with all the business stuff that she does with Unrivaled. I'm just so impressed with what she's been able to do with her career. And my favorite part, just the ease and the handle pack that she has. Like the ascension of the handle pack has been phenomenal to watch, especially at her height. She is that girl. And I don't mean to take Asia Wilson's name there, but yeah, Fee is the queen for sure. Runner up, MVP voting a number of seasons. So great to have her back on the floor.
Yeah, it was exciting to see her return. It was certainly seamless. And one of the reasons why the Lynx are amazing this year is because of their standout rookie. Sure we all heard of her, Olivia Miles, crushing it in year one. She doesn't feel like a rookie. It's like she's playing out there as if she was Candace Parker when Candace was a rookie who crushed it and made it all the way to the finals. So one thing I'm looking for in the second half, Zora, is if she's able to shatter Caitlin Clark's rookie records. How would you characterize what you're seeing right now from Miles and the conversations you've heard around the league about how she's playing?
I think what's so impressive about what Olivia Miles is doing in her rookie year is the consistency. Because what some of the greats, like you talk to Marina Mabrey right now, and what she feels like the turning point in her game is the consistency. Marina's been in the league a number of years. I mean, in year one, to be consistent night in and night out and have that kind of responsibility on you as the lead guard of what is the best team in the league right now, I'm just thoroughly impressed. And it was a no-brainer for her to be an all-star starter. I love what she's been able to do, and I'm excited to see how that morphs with Fee on the floor.
I know anything the Lynx do this season is not going to go under the radar because they have been one of the most electric teams in the WNBA this year. But what is maybe a team or a player, a name that you feel like is flying under the radar?
I mean, I don't know if the Golden State Valkyries and what they are doing right now is talked about enough, and how they've been able to draw on what they started last year. And obviously, I think the next step is winning a playoff series for them. But if you talk to Natalie Nakase, I mean, championship. Even like, when the franchise was first announced, they're like, in our first 5 seasons, we're going to win a championship. So I'm probably saying an expectation that is way lower than what they are talking about, but I'm thoroughly impressed with them. And then if there is a player that deserves to be talked about more, it's Kelsey Mitchell. Last night, the Fever were playing the Sun. Kate Scott was on the call for USA Sports and said Kelsey Mitchell needs to be in the MVP conversation. Now, right now, front runner Asia Wilson, and as she should be. But if we talk about the group and who should be in the conversation, Kelsey Mitchell. There's been so many different people in and out of that Fever lineup. Talk about consistency. Becky Hammond, I had an Aces game the other day. Becky Hammond said, like, her and Kelsey Plum are the hardest guards to cover in the WNBA because of their speed and their skill set. And when you combine the two, they're virtually unstoppable. Kelsey Mitchell can get a bucket anytime she wants. So I think Kelsey Mitchell deserves a lot more flowers and just a lot more hype. She's a dog. She's a dog. She's like, I just have this playground mindset. And what that means to me is you're going on the court and you're going to get a bucket and you're going to go play with your friends, but you're playing on the playground. You got to win in order to stay on. So, yeah, she's, we talk about hoopers and we use that term loosely. She is a hooper.
She certainly is. And the Fever almost took out the Aces last year in that great series without Caitlin Clark. So looking forward to seeing
games.
how. Yeah, it was right down to the wire. That was really impressive. Let's pivot right now to the NBA because you do it all for NBC and you're a dual threat. We're all on LeBron watch right now, Zor. I don't know what the latest story is. Apparently, someone is in search of a director for YouTube. That would be Miami after their little snafu mistake. Where do you think LeBron ultimately ends up and why?
I have no clue. And I'm sitting back watching this as a fan, just like everyone else. I think there's a number of rabbit holes we could all go down on. Okay, there's been a clue here. Maybe he should go here. Or this is why he should go back to Cleveland. Or this is why Miami makes sense. Steph made his plea in his pitch on Good Morning America, whatever it may be. His family is in LA. We know he's not going to be a Laker, but could he, go to the other team in LA? Yeah, there's a story and a reason for every team. And what I really respect about LeBron is he allows himself to make a decision and he keeps it close to the chest. He keeps it to the vest. And I appreciate that. It's really hard to do that in the time that we are in. And so wherever he goes, I expect to probably have a lot of games there next year. So we are on wait and see watch. I wonder if you all have a pick. The question is not where is he going to go? The question is, where do you want him to go? Right? I think that is like, where do we want LeBron to go? It's like, all right,
where do you want LeBron to go?
We saw a little glimpse of like him and Steph, 2024 Olympics. That was fun, but is that group like too aged? Would they be too old to compete? He wants to win another championship. Of course, a homecoming is always a great story. But he's come out and, that's not necessarily his favorite place to play. Cleveland, okay. Miami has got a lot going on. I actually think Miami needs more guards. That's my thought process. But, of course, no one's going to pass up the opportunity to get LeBron James. I would love to know where you all want him to go. I don't know. See, I just went down 3 different teams. I have no clue.
I think I just have fallen in love with the Cleveland story. The idea of, it's coming full circle. He's going back home where he started his career. We won a championship. But I also love the idea of Miami. That's also kind of a homecoming in and of itself. And Miami could absolutely use the shooting and the scoring of LeBron James. So I think I go Cleveland. But Zora, Justin mentioned it. You do it all. You literally do it all. She covers the WNBA, the NBA, men's and women's college hoops. She's on the sidelines for Notre Dame football, Big Ten football. You can find her anywhere you watch NBC and Peacock Sports. Zora, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you stopping by with us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Zora. Zora Stephenson, she is an absolute pro. And so is this man. We mentioned it. LeBron Watch is on the latest gossip, tea, rumors, smoke that we're hearing.
The starting price for a low 4-star. So low 4-star would be, we could be talking 350th best player in the country. $350,000.
So 300 to 400 individuals a year, let's say roughly, are getting a 4-star ranking. $350K on average? That feels correct.
I saw that number and I thought, it seems low.
That was my reaction.
Ross.
4th down and 4 for Jacksonville. Down a touchdown. 2 in motion for Edwards. 3-man, now 4-man rush. Launches end zone, far side, touchdown! Jaden Skoshak.
Once again, rolling out, getting out of the pocket, avoiding the pressure, throwing on the run there, but great throw.
Yeah.
The Arizona Cardinals are not going to be, one, running a serious operation this year again, and then 2, they got absolutely bludgeoned. They opened this year with 9 games against all almost Super Bowl contenders, and they only play 3 home games over that span. They have a late bye. We're going to see probably Carson Beck for the fantasy playoffs because they just won't have enough wins. The Arizona Cardinals are a team from a managed league standpoint. I'm not drafting any of their players.
Really, if you watch their motions, the motions are at different speed. That's been pretty fun.
Comes on and now with a quick pitch to the outside. That's not
Jinx.
fooling anybody as Hershot Davis picks him up and goes full body slam. Welcome to the WWE.
Spear, spear, spear. Oh, man. Take your pick. Was that Edge? Was that Goldberg? Was that Rhino?
Oh, that's Goldberg. That's Goldberg. Yeah, that's definitely Goldberg.
Now we just need to see a jackhammer after it.
Steph Curry becomes the first active player to have an immersive exhibit at the Basketball Hall of Fame. Like, Justin, there's absolutely no doubt that Warriors fans consider Steph Curry their GOAT, and rightfully so. Steph Curry deserves to be their GOAT. But do you really believe that Golden State fans could potentially get behind bringing LeBron James in if all of the Bron to Golden State Warriors are true?
It depends what your definition of get behind is. If it's they're okay with it, but they're still going to be haters, yeah, I can see that. And the best example I have of that is that I know a lot of passionate, diehard Laker fans. This man, LeBron, brought that city a championship. No, it wasn't a bubble championship, it was an actual title. And still to this very day, especially since he's no longer a Laker, they will not embrace him as one of their own because they were Kobe stans. And Kobe and LeBron had their battles. Amazing commercials as well. We never got a chance to see them actually play in the finals, but still, they were Kobe fans to the longest. So going back to your question, Steph Curry is the face of that franchise. He will go down as the greatest Golden State Warrior. And because of that, they will, for the longest, always try to slight LeBron. And the possibility of them even pairing up, it just doesn't intrigue me. It just doesn't. But to answer your question, no, they're not going to get behind it because if you're a hater of LeBron, you're going to remain that way, even if he is joining your team. And because it's more of a rental situation and he won't have a chance to win a championship, yeah, it's not happening. And people will always hate him, even if he joins them as a Golden State Warrior.
I also wonder if LeBron would feel some type of way about playing in an arena with an immersive exhibit about a player that is not him. And I don't say that to, like troll or clown LeBron, but I just kind of think that that's how he's wired. I find it so strange that Lakers fans did not embrace LeBron James. Like you said, he brought a championship to that city. It was a bubble championship, but that is still a Larry O.B. that does not have an asterisk attached to it. So I found it so odd that Lakers fans couldn't, celebrate him the way that they've celebrated Laker greats in the past. The way that you can't separate your Kobe fandom from your, long history of hating LeBron, even when he's wearing your jersey. Like, if you're a Golden State fan and you're not on board for LeBron, like, just because, they've had that kind of feud back and forth and it goes back to the 2016 finals, honestly, I say, Justin, get over yourself. Like, it's LeBron James. Like, because I don't think that this Golden State team, as currently constructed, is anywhere close to a championship contender. I don't even think they're playoff contenders. But at least if you add LeBron James, it's an interesting story that you're going to get a ton of headlines. You're going to get a ton of eyeballs and attention. Because the Golden State Warriors would go from a team with a great player in Steph Curry, a great player in Draymond Green that probably doesn't get anywhere close to a championship, to now a team that, even though I don't think LeBron would be the difference between Golden State making or missing the playoffs or being a championship contender or not, at least it's a more interesting team. So, and you can't get over what happened a decade ago. You would be so caught up with the 2016 NBA Finals that you would just detest the idea of LeBron and Golden State. I don't get it. I don't get it.
This is why fans are passionate and are avid. So I do actually understand it. While I don't get the Kobe thing, where you love Kobe so much and Kobe was also embracing of LeBron, I don't get that. I understand this with Golden State. You had recent battles with this guy. The Lakers, should have no gripe with him. It's not like you guys have a long-standing history and you went toe-to-toe or you lost a 3-1 series. On the other hand, Golden State did lose a 3-1 series, and they really got the overwhelming hand over LeBron when you brought KD over. So if anything, you shouldn't really hate him, but I do understand knowing that for years, you two teams, the Warriors and the Cavaliers, were the top in the NBA, and you were meeting in the finals every single year, and you guys were battling and going down. But I can't really say battling because one ended in a sweep and the other one was a gentleman's sweep. Neither here nor there. There were mistakes made in that. But you were the final two teams when it went down to the NBA Finals. I understand it. And it's also LeBron in year 24. Who cares? Like, they're not going to get behind it. They're just going to throw shade and be like, well, that's why we beat you. It's like, it just gives more opportunities for people to throw jabs at his legacy. LeBron is going to have his jersey retired, most likely with all three teams that he's suited up for. He will not have his jersey retired for the Golden State Warriors. So don't make that move.
Yeah, I don't think Golden State is going to be the landing spot. But let's get to another LeBron rumored team in the Miami Heat. 24 hours after the infamous LeBron James introductory press conference live stream that was set up on the Miami Heat YouTube page, the Heat posted on LinkedIn a job posting for the director of YouTube strategy. Is that everything to you? Is that something to you? Is that nothing to you?
It's definitely something. There are a few things I think about, and all of these statements can be true. One, LeBron may be going to Miami. Two, this is a director YouTube strategy position that they're in desperate need of. And three, maybe it really was a genuine mistake because that person and someone in that department is terrible at their job. But let's focus on the last two statements. The timing of this is just so incredibly laughable because I was hoping that the basketball gods left us some breadcrumbs because I understand LeBron is very strategic. Even when he was at Fanatics, he knew exactly what he was doing when he was speaking about trust the process. He said that twice on purpose. He knew what he was doing. LeBron, we know you're an actor, a good actor at that, but we knew exactly what you're doing. And now for them to actually launch early page instead of having the press conference be hidden and waiting because of the possibility. It seems very foolish. So this is definitely something. And the something is that y'all need to find a director, a good one. But honestly, Caroline, wouldn't you love to be a fly on the wall for that interview process? I just want to hear about the candidates. Like, so why do you need a new position? Why do you need a new director? Because the last one was terrible.
I just almost want to apply for it just so I can get on the inside and ask some questions, get some answers that I think we've all been begging for, even though I have no intention of leaving my current role, of course. This is something to me, definitely, but I think it also shows the importance of this role. Because I did some digging. When I saw this circulating on socials, I thought, there's no way this is real. This is too good to be true. Did some digging and found out that this role was actually posted on July 1st. So clearly, they are in need of filling that position as soon as possible because somebody in the Miami Heat organization who works on the communications team or on the social team has been picking up the pieces of this role that's been left open, and clearly they are not qualified for it because they made the ultimate whoopsie oops of all time. And maybe possibly people are wondering if it costs them the opportunity to acquire LeBron James. So somebody needs to fill that role, and somebody much more qualified maybe. But I mean, let me just say, I used to do digital live streams at ESPN. I used to be in charge of creating and starting YouTube streams. You don't create them and make them just in case, like over a week in advance. It's just really not that hard to set up a YouTube live stream. So I don't know what went on there, but of the teams that we just mentioned the Warriors, we mentioned the Heat. Which team do you, because I know what we think might or might not happen. Which team do you think Adam Silver is rooting for LeBron to choose? Which is a better story for the league?
Miami, because I think about the full stretch of the regular season. I'll make the case for Miami and make the case against the Warriors. First, Miami, because you have Bam as well as Giannis Antetokounmpo. And I do think that Giannis having the excitement of trying to go back after a ring and proving that he has something still left in the tank is intriguing, despite having the lack of shooters around him. But it's a reunion. It's a story we can get behind, the familiarity. LeBron going back there, repatching things with the silver goat himself in Pat Riley. Now, the argument against the Warriors is that simply I don't think that this team will be able to be well equipped for 82 games. because you have all these players that are on whole 17 or 18 of their career. They're going to retire. Like, it's really cool for 15 games. It's really cool for a short sample, as Zora was even mentioning during the Olympics. But over 82 games, I don't think this is what they want. And especially knowing that LeBron is most likely not going to play all 82. So how are you going to be able to divvy it up? If I'm a business person, I want Miami.
See, I think that Miami is the better basketball decision. I think that Miami is a team far more, equipped to compete in the East. But I think Golden State is the better story. Steph and LeBron joining forces, the two Golden Girl equivalents of what we would have in the NBA. I think that's the better story, but Miami is definitely more of a championship contender. We, of course, will keep ourselves on LeBron watch, but I am also watching my college football countdown. There is no bigger spotlight in the sport than the spotlight that is on the Notre Dame quarterback, and he, CJ Carr, joins us coming up next.
My sister told me, be careful what you wish for because you might get it. I did. And now it's about, well, what goals are, what's left on the table? I want Street Fighter to be a massive success. I want to do more Guile, but also I want to do more film. I want to do more TV. There's seats on, on the Georgia political scene that are open. Is that a road? Or is this the road to stay with something I love so much, like wrestling? And I love this. I don't know how I'd say bye to it.
Sharks down 10. Third down and 10 from the 19. Edwards steps up. Now he's in trouble. And Edwards sacked. Back at the 17. And once again, it's Devontae O'Malley. And flipped into the end zone. Touchdown. A thing of beauty. DeLaurent from Murray with a late pitch over the top, end over end. And a Pirates touchdown.
If you are a check writer at one of these places that has achieved success historically in college football, and you are ideologically opposed to your check going directly to Rev, to paying the players, with the ideology of, well, we didn't have to do this back when. When you hear we didn't used to have to do this amongst boosters, go ahead and order the gravestone for your football program.
Still Barnes in there. No Jared Ware on this drive yet. Roberts against the blitz. Goes to the end zone for Keon Williams. Easy as you like. 16-yard touchdown.
There's Keon Williams. Tried to go to him in the last drive on that fourth down play to the end zone. Good defense by Orlando, but that time able to shake free to the corner.
Notre Dame head coach Marcus Freeman told The Athletic, quote, "I'm all in. I've been all in. I don't see myself being the head coach or coaching anywhere else." I know Notre Dame fans everywhere breathed a sigh of relief when they heard that their head man is sticking around in South Bend. And joining us now here on Yahoo Sports Daily is Freeman's quarterback, CJ Carr. CJ, first of all, awesome background behind you. Where are you joining us from?
I'm on campus right now in our new facility. We get a good little backdrop here of our practice facility.
Ah, awesome. It looks great. So, just want to ask you, in a college sports world where change is the only constant, is really the only thing that we can expect, what does that do for you as a player in your locker room to hear that from your head coach, that he's not going anywhere?
It means everything. Free's a guy that you want to follow. In our opinion, he's the best head coach in all of college football. And so having another year with him is unbelievable. And we couldn't have asked for it any other way. This is how we want it. He's the guy, we want leading us out of the tunnel.
CJ, what makes him the best coach in college football? Tell us that special sauce that really motivates you and your teammates.
Yeah, he's a guy who loves to compete, is super intense, and but also off the field wants to get to know you on more than just a football level, wants to get to know about your family and what you're going through. And so you connect with him really easy. And one of the best leaders I've ever been around, from that aspect of when things are going well, he wants to give the credit to others. And when things aren't going well, he wants to take the blame. And, you appreciate that as a player.
Great coaches like Marcus Freeman can find bulletin board material or motivational tactics from anywhere. But there's maybe no greater motivational tactic than feeling like you got left out or shorted. How is being left out of the college football playoff last season motivating your team going into this year?
Yeah, I think, being left out, having some tough games at the beginning of the season is going to propel us, and we're going to learn from the lessons that we've taken from those games and those situations we've been in. And it's going to make us a better team, even for the guys who maybe weren't here last year to experience it. When you get around, our team and our facilities, you feel the hunger that we have, and we're ready to go.
CJ, it was also a surprising decision when Notre Dame decided not to play into a bowl game. What did you make of that? Were you behind it?
Yeah, our captains, after we were voted not to be in the playoff, they made a decision to opt out of the bowl. We wanted, and everyone stood by their decision. That's why we voted them as captains, and we wanted to end the season with our team and not half of a 2025 team, and that's kind of what it was going to be. What it shaped up to be if we were to play, and so we kind of want to end on our terms, and yeah, we supported the captain's decision 100%.
You are building your own legacy at Notre Dame, but your family has a legacy at Michigan. Your grandfather, Lloyd Carr, won a national championship at Michigan. Michigan was one of the first teams to offer you, but you ultimately chose Notre Dame. Why?
Coming out of high school, like you said, Michigan was my first offer, Michigan State right after that. But, after getting those offers, my family came to me and said, this has to be your decision. And just because, our family has ties to a place, it doesn't mean that that's the right place for you. And they let me, go out and test other schools, see what was going on at different other spots. And after visiting Notre Dame 3 or 4 times, it just felt like home to me. The people here are unbelievable. The tradition that this university has is second to none, and wouldn't want it any other way.
I know you're excited for the upcoming season, but I saw you recently participated in the Manning Passing Academy, and NFL draft analyst Todd McShay, he called you the MVP from that experience. What were your big takeaways being involved in that overall weekend?
Yeah, it was a great experience just to be around the Mannings and some of the other, great quarterbacks across college football, and get to bond and connect with them and pick their brains about, how their programs are run and how they do things. And so it was a really cool experience. They work you hard out there. You're working with kids all day long. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It's really hot too. Been several times.
No
And
doubt.
South Louisiana, late June is really, really hot, but no doubt an awesome experience. CJ, I know that you are focused on the teams that are on your schedule, but there is one glaring team that is not, and that's USC. Notre Dame and USC is one of the greatest, most traditional historic rivalries that we have in college football. You got to play in that game last year. What did that rivalry mean, and what does it mean to you to not have it as a yearly matchup anymore?
Yeah, I've kind of been a part of 2, played in one of those games, and there's a little bit more juice kind of running out of that tunnel when you're playing the Trojans, and they don't like you, you don't like them, and I think those are some of the best matchups, those long-standing college rivalry games. And for us, it's disappointing that we can't go and play them again, but out of our control at this point, and we're ready to take on Wisconsin week 1, and looking forward to that.
CJ, I'm curious, after having that experience at the Manning Passing Academy, being involved with NFL greats and seeing so much talent around you, who do you like to watch film of, whether it's past or present in the NFL, and pick their brain and see, like, I think I can model that side?
Yeah, this last offseason, the big guy I've kind of followed was Stafford. I thought what the Rams did schematically, and then some of the throws he makes are just unbelievable. And And then recently it's been a lot of Drake May, and watching him kind of do what he did, have a great playoff run there. And, also just looking at, how these NFL teams string together wins in deep playoff runs and watching those playoff games, seeing the flow of it, not trying to turn the ball over, taking the shots when they're there. All the NFL stuff has been unbelievable to watch. And, I think it's helped my game just to see how they do it and the flow of it. And it's been fun.
Is the NFL your ultimate goal?
Yeah, I think that's everyone's ultimate goal when they play college football. And but right now, we have a season coming up, and that's the focus. And if you look past it too much, Free always says, you'll lose what you have right now.
As you're looking at the constant volatility in college football, how would you characterize the current landscape of your sport, as well as are you in favor of another possible playoff expansion?
Those are way above my pay grade. I don't have too many opinions on that. What I see from here is, Coach Freeman has built such a good community at Notre Dame, and the pillars that this team's built on. People don't want to leave Notre Dame, and so there isn't as much change around here. We get a couple transfers every year, but our guys are our guys, and I think it's built on Coach Free's pillars.
I know that's what you're accustomed to and acclimated to, but obviously you got to talk with a bunch of guys at Manning Passing Academy. I mean, I've talked with several coaches and several players this past offseason that talk about just how many transfer portal players they have, how different the room looks. And they spent the offseason just getting to know each other, building that chemistry. What is that like for you as a quarterback to have so much continuity with the coaching staff and the roster?
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head. It's I went to the Manning Passing Academy, and a bunch of those guys are talking about the amount of half their team is transfers, and the amount of transfers that they get every year is unbelievable. And so that allows me to go back to Notre Dame and look at our room and the receivers that are in our room and the linemen that are coming back, and really have appreciation for those guys. And we have two new great wide receivers who transferred in, and so you can focus a bunch of energy on trying to get the timing down with them on and off the field. But, most of the guys you're working with are guys who've been here for 2 or 3 years.
CJ, did you do anything fun this offseason? Maybe it was with your teammates or just by yourself?
What was really fun, we got to have the receivers out to Jacksonville, Florida, which is where I train at in the offseason, and got to go surfing a little bit, had some hibachi nights, did some top golf. So that was, one of the highlights of the summer, and something that was a lot of fun.
Top 3 golfers on the team? Are you in there?
Oh, good.
No, I'm not even close.
You're from Michigan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did a kid from Michigan learn how to surf?
I can't. I'm not good at it. I was trying. I didn't say I got up. I said we surfed. There's different things there. I was a struggle out there for sure.
Was that led by you, that experience?
Say it one more time.
Was that experience led by you, or was that like a collaborative effort for the team to get together off-site?
Yeah, Riley Leonard had set a similar thing up 2 years ago in his hometown or home area. And so, me and a couple of the receivers thought it'd be a good idea to get that going again. And you build different connections when you live with people for 2 or 3 days. You're not just kind of sporadically hanging out with them. And that's exactly what it was. I got to know those guys on a different level than maybe the normal, ins and outs of the day. And so that was a really cool experience.
You mentioned Riley Leonard. There's so many greats that have played quarterback at Notre Dame, going back to Joe Montana, going back to Brady Quinn. Do you have relationships with some of the former Notre Dame quarterbacks?
Yeah, some of the more recent guys, Ian Book, Sam Hartman, Riley Leonard, have all, they're always open to a call or a text, or whenever they're in town, they're very open to answering questions and things like that. And it's easy because, they've been through this. They understand what it's like to be the starting quarterback at Notre Dame, and it's not for everyone. And so having those guys, around, being able to pick their brains on different experiences they have been through has been really helpful.
CJ, curious more about the Manning Passing Academy as you're talking about picking former quarterbacks' brains from Notre Dame. Is there any conversation with a current player in the league or someone from that academy that really resonated with you and you really wanted to use that advice moving forward?
Yeah, I think, being around any of the Mannings, the NFL legends, football legends, was awesome. And Peyton and Eli were great. They got us on the field, putting us through drills, talking through footwork and things like that. That was awesome. And then Riley Leonard's in the league too. So having him in your back pocket, it's never a bad thing.
CJ, before I get you out of here, I know I mentioned USC not on this schedule this year. There's one team that is, and that's Miami. They got the best of you in a close game week 1 last year. Miami found themselves in the CFP. I know that you were focused on Wisconsin, but will that game feel like it means a little bit more?
Again, like haven't thought that far. We got a ton of time. We got a whole fall camp to get through, and have watched a ton of Wisconsin already. So, we're going to have time to get to Miami when Miami comes, and we're going to be ready to go. But haven't thought, that deep into the season yet.
CJ Carr, the starting quarterback for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They open their season up against Wisconsin Sunday, September 6th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. CJ, thanks so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your off season. We hope to catch up with you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, CJ.
CJ Carr hanging out with us here on the show. I am ready for college football season, but I know a lot of people are playing video games to kind of fill that sports void. Did they get it right?
Who is your breakout candidate for this year?
Kind of think Isaiah Likely with the New York Giants is a really good candidate this year. Kind of wide receiver room that could rotate a little bit and be useful players, but they don't, to me, have one dynamic. Even Fields, who I like, I don't know that he's going to be like a dynamic guy that right off the bus, round 3 rookie, leads the team in targets. I think that could actually be Isaiah Likely. Tight ends on their second contracts have been good bets to make. I think Likely is a good bet to make this year.
Derby on the ground, a high popper. Puka comes up to get it at the 10. Williams out over the 15, the 20. Puka Williams is free. Inside the 10, 5, touchdown! Puka Williams.
When you have one of the best returners in the league, when you have one of the fastest guys in the league, he has been on the verge of returning these over and over in this game. You know how dangerous he is. You've got to have a plan.
How do you feel about the Seahawks skill players at this point in time?
The good part, I think, if you're a Seahawks fan, what you would argue here is that outside of Cooper Kupp, like everybody should, I think, have another step to take. It's not impossible that JSN does this again, but you bake in some, I'm not like negative against the player, but just a little regression there. The way you offset that is younger guys and other players step up.
Walter Wilbon's on his left hip. White rolls right. White throws deep. White's got a man open. Jamon Street. Touchdown, New Mexico. First career touchdown pass for LeJames White. And New Mexico strikes on first down.
Look at him go. Calls for it. Fakes the handoff. I mean, textbook QB1 stuff.
Pretty good throw.
Really good.
We are not alone. Victor Wembanyama has landed as your NBA 2K27 Standard Edition cover athlete. There you go. I know everybody has feelings and debates about the cover of 2K every single year, and Wemby is joined by Caitlin Clark, who is on the cover for the Deluxe Edition, and Derrick Rose, who is on the cover for the Ultra Edition. Justin, did 2K get it right?
Absolutely not. This is a dumb decision. What are they thinking about? And let me clarify. Well done with Caitlin Clark as well as the OG Derrick Rose. But are they serious? They gave it to Wemby and not Jalen Brunson. Do I need to remind them what just took place in the finals? How the city of New York felt? How long it's been? more than half a century that they've won a championship, Wemby is going to have the longest runway in the world for you to put him on this cover. You're telling me that you didn't want to capitalize on this opportunity and put a New York Knick there, whether it's OG or even Jalen or even Cat, anybody but Wemby. I like Wemby. I'm a huge fan of him. I don't think that he's a scrub by any means. He's going to keep winning Defensive Player of the Year and is going to continue to dominate this league. And the way he's been able to process defenses and offenses and how he's on the court in real time, it's exceptional. We know why Wemby was even in the consideration. But in terms of the easiest decision, the smartest decision, think simply and put Jalen Brunson on the cover. It's too late now. This was stupid. What are they doing? You know, people that are in the room that make a decision and you're like, you know what? This could just be an email. We shouldn't have met in person for this at all. This was foolish. I don't know why.
Spoken like a true New Yorker, first of all, that you are holding it down for the Knicks. I view this situation as kind of like, you know, in the SETs, ACTs, multiple choice answers where they're all right, but there's one that's like the most right. I think that's kind of how I approach NBA 2K is like putting Wemby on the cover. It's not wrong, but it's just not the most right. Like putting Wemby on the cover, he, you know, is an absolute alien. He is a celebrity in the sport, just his sheer size. He's recognizable. He's a household name. I think it's fair to say that, well, if there is one true face of the league, it is Victor Wembanyama getting his team to the NBA Finals in his first ever trip to the postseason. So I don't think that it's wrong. It's Victor Wembanyama. I think we also want, I think the NBA wants Wemby to be the face of the league. Jalen Brunson would have been the most right. Coming off of that historic fairy tale Cinderella season, Jalen Brunson is probably the most important and most famous man in the city of New York right now. But I don't disagree. I feel kind of the same way with Caitlin Clark on the cover. Putting Caitlin Clark on anything is always going to be right. She is the face of the WNBA. She is largely the reason why the WNBA has the richest TV deal in its history. It's not only because of Caitlin, but let's not kid ourselves that Caitlin Clark has done so much for the league. But also, Caitlin Clark didn't really do anything last year. Caitlin Clark was injured a majority of last year. I would have looked at Paige Beckers in a Rookie of the Year season. I would have looked at Asia Wilson, 4-time MVP, 3-time champion, coming off of another historic season. Again, putting Caitlin Clark on the cover is not wrong, but there are other correct choices as well.
I get that. And I do think that amazing conversation could be made for Asia Wilson because she is the best player in the league. You probably wouldn't want to put Nafisa because of the injury. I understand all of the politics that take place, but I see why they wanted to do Caitlin. But there's no time like now. Going back to Wemby being on the cover, I enjoy what the Spurs do, and I do think that they will still be able to compete in the West for the longest time. And they have their Tim Duncan, David Robinson-esque kind of player. But because there's been so much parity, Caroline, in the league, 8 different champions in the past 8 years. We're not sure if the Knicks will ever be able to get back to this plateau. And I do think that the best time to crown Jalen Brunson or Nick on this cover would have been right now. In addition, if we're just talking from a business standpoint, I'm just speaking objectively, it would have made way more sense. We know how rabid New York's fans are. I promise you that more people would have purchased NBA 2K just because Jalen is on the cover or New York Knicks. I promise you that. Promise you that.
I believe that. And it's fair to say, if not now, then when? Like, I think Wemby could be on the cover of 2K next year.
Next year.
The year after that. Like, Wemby's not going anywhere. But if a Knick isn't going to be on the cover this year, then when? Like, do we expect the Knicks to go back-to-back? Maybe, could. But, like, now feels like the right time to capitalize on a little bit of Knicks magic. Because I know you're in New York. You can feel it every single day, even not being in the city, even not living in New York. You could feel, that Knicks mania sweeping the nation. I live in North Carolina, and even there, I felt like so many people were riding or dying with the Knicks because it was a team that just everybody fell in love with. So it would feel more like the NBA was capitalizing on a moment that might be more fleeting than Victor Wembanyama. I don't think Wemby is going anywhere. But Victor Wembanyama, now the face, obviously, of 2K, if not the face of the entire league. He's also the face for star players taking pay cuts to help their team. Wemby opted to take a lesser rookie max extension that left about $50 million on the table. Jalen Brunson also famously took less money in 2024 when he signed his extension with the Knicks. Should star players feel obligated to take that hometown discount?
No, they shouldn't. They should never do that. I want to give credit to Jalen Brunson because he was able to look in the crystal ball and think about the bigger picture and the opportunity that was ahead of him, knowing that he can get paid on the back end and what a championship would mean here in New York. And the way that the Knicks are run, it feels very CAA-like if you think about who his godfather is, and then his former agent being Leon Rose, and then his current agent is Leon Rose's son, Worldwide West, all the connections. It's very family-oriented. If you go to Wemby, it's unfortunate that he's not going to be getting paid at least the max threshold. They call it the Derrick Rose rule because he was able to win Defensive Player of the Year and has a chance to win MVP. But players should never feel the need to take a discount. This CBA it has its mistakes with the second apron. I'm not a fan of it, but I do think that players should never in their right mind think that they have to take a pay cut. But if they have goals that are bigger than just getting paid out max, they can consider it. It's sacrifices. Everything is business. And Caroline, when you come to a different company and you work somewhere, you have trade-offs. And some people think about these trade-offs when they're going to a team, whether it's location, lifestyle, money. LeBron going over to California, and think about it from a business or analytical standpoint. And now in year 24 in his career, now he's willing to get paid the minimum threshold and go to whatever team because he's looking for basketball happiness. Going back to the question, players should never feel obligated to take less. And I hope that front offices aren't pushing this on players because you see two of some of the best in the world have made that decision.
I'm with you 1,000%. If a player chooses to leave money on the table, to leave more for the rest of the team, I will always applaud them and I will always tip my cap to them. But if a player doesn't decide to take a pay cut, doesn't decide to leave money on the table, I'm not going to blame them. I'm not going to call them selfish. I'm not going to say that they're hurting the team because that's 100% their choice. Because Wemby just signed a $250 million deal. So leaving $50 million on the table, that's about a 20% pay cut. I'll ask you listening at home, would you take a 20% pay cut in your job? Probably not. I probably wouldn't. So I'm not going to blame any guy who decides not to. I'm also, going to applaud guys that do. I think we saw Joe Burrow do that in the NFL. Tom Brady did that for a long time with the New England Patriots. I mean, yes, they're still making a very healthy amount of money, even leaving money on the table, but I'm never going to fault someone for not doing that. I'm never going to pocket watch an athlete. It is totally 100% their prerogative and their choice, 1,000%. We just caught up with CJ Carr earlier in the show. You can find that on the Yahoo Sports YouTube page. But we're going to keep the college football good vibes going. The leading passer in college football last season joins the show. Drew Mestemaker stops by Yahoo Sports Daily.
The starting price for a low 4-star. So low 4-star would be, we could be talking the 350th best player in the country. $350,000.
So 300 to 400 individuals a year, let's say roughly, are getting a 4-star ranking. 350K on average? That feels correct.
I saw that number and I thought, it seems low.
That was my reaction.
Ross.
4th down and 4 for Jacksonville. Down a touchdown. 2 in motion for Edwards. 3-man, now 4-man rush. Launches end zone, far side, touchdown! Jaden Skoshak.
I mean, once again, rolling out, getting out of the pocket, avoiding the pressure, throwing on the run there, but great throw.
Yeah.
The Arizona Cardinals are not going to be, one, running a serious operation this year again, and then two, they got absolutely bludgeoned. They opened this year with 9 games against all like almost Super Bowl contenders, and they only play 3 home games over that span. They have a late bye. We're going to see probably Carson Beck for the fantasy playoffs because they just won't have enough wins. The Arizona Cardinals are a team from a managed league standpoint. I'm not drafting any of their players.
Really, if you watch their motions, the motions are at different speed. That's been pretty fun.
Comes on and now with the quick pitch to the outside. That's not
Jinx.
fooling anybody as Hershot Davis picks him up and goes full body slam. Welcome to the WWE.
Spear, spear, spear. Oh, man. Take your pick. Was that Edge? Was that Goldberg? Was that Rhino?
Oh, that's Goldberg. That's Goldberg. Yeah, that's definitely Goldberg.
Now we just need to see a jackhammer after it.
New Oklahoma State quarterback Drew Mestemaker has quickly become a favorite for NFL draft folks. Here he is at the Manning Passing Academy. And now, a month later, a month removed from the Manning Passing Academy, he joins us here on Yahoo Sports Daily. Drew Mestemaker with us now. First of all, let's just talk about the background. Our producers told us that you had an epic background, and they were correct. Where are you right now? This looks awesome.
I'm in, 3rd floor of the facility right now, and I just walked in and they had it set up for me. So, I didn't do any of this myself, that's for sure.
It looks great. You had an awesome season last year at North Texas. You decided to follow your head coach to Oklahoma State. You've had, Manning Passing Academy this past summer. What a whirlwind has it been for you this past year?
Yeah, it's definitely been crazy. It's kind of a shock being in this position so fast and looking back to where I was, a few years ago. But it's been awesome, and I'm very grateful for Coach Morris, keeping me around and wanting me to come to Oklahoma State with him too.
Yeah, being able to join forces with your head coach must have made the transition a lot more easy. But what was that culture shock moment that you had going to Oklahoma State? Do you still remember what it felt like?
Yeah, we a bunch of North Texas guys actually came up here on a visit at the same time. So we all kind of got up here at the same time and knew this place was different from what we're used to. And so it was definitely wild seeing, all the resources that are here. I feel like there's nothing we don't have here, and stuff that I didn't even know existed at these facilities. And I'm just blown away by everything that's here at this facility and everything Oklahoma State has to offer us.
Yeah, we talk so much about the transfer portal, obviously, but what I don't think we talk about enough is just how much of a whirlwind it is for you guys. You're transferring schools, you're finding a new apartment, you're moving to a different city, you're learning a new locker room, learning a new campus, making new friends. I don't have to tell you how difficult it is. And oh yeah, by the way, you're opening the season with Dante Moore in Oregon, fresh off of a trip to the college football playoff. How are you preparing for that game week 1?
Yeah, I think, obviously it's one that you have circled on your schedule and one that you're looking forward to. But as competitors, I feel like that's what you want. You want to compete against the highest competition. You want to compete against people who are proven and proven winners. And so I think, as a team that's so new and so, well put together by Coach Morris, but I think it'll be a good test for us to go out there and really see what we're made of. I think we all want this opportunity. And if you asked us, if this isn't like, we aren't going into this game thinking anything else but try to win. And I think we can, and I think everyone on our team thinks we can too.
Drew, you lit it up at North Texas, led the FBS with over 4,300 passing yards, 34 passing touchdowns. Now you're going to the Power Four, coming from the Group of Five. For you, what do you think the biggest adjustment is going to be playing what many perceive as better defenses?
Yeah, I think obviously just preparing for them and knowing what to expect going into it, and then obviously just protecting the football. But really, I don't really know 100% what to expect, but I feel like, going from not playing in high school to starting in college was a pretty big jump too. So I think, just showing up and playing smart football and just doing my job every play.
There's no doubt Oklahoma is one of the epicenters of college football in this country. Why will Oklahoma State be the best football program in Oklahoma this season?
Yeah, I mean, I see no reason why we can't win every game on our schedule. I think we have an explosive offense. We got, a defense that flies around and makes plays. If you look at Coach Cassidy's defense last year, they, probably had some of the most turnovers in the country, which then gives the ball back to an explosive offense. So I think we play an exciting brand of football and a brand of football that wins some games.
Drew, this must be a surreal journey for you. You mentioned your time in high school not being a starter, 0-star recruit, and now here you are, the leader of Oklahoma State after transferring from North Texas. Do you feel fueled by doubters? What motivates you?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, you know, my journey up to this point has definitely put a chip on my shoulder, and I'll always have that chip on my shoulder. But at the end of the day, I think what drives me is being a competitor. I want to win in everything I do. I want to be the best at everything I do. And so I think at the end of the day, the doubters will always have that little chip on your shoulder. But at the end of the day, I just want to compete and win in everything I do.
Speaking of the first round, speaking of playing on Sundays, who in the NFL reminds you of you?
Yeah, well, obviously, I picked the number 17 because I love watching Josh Allen. I think he's a great quarterback and, kind of a similar story. Didn't really get the hype out of high school, so I love watching him. And then, I don't really know. I don't really, try to model my game too much after anyone. I just gotta try to go out and make winning football plays. So I don't know if there's a specific quarterback that I'd say reminds me of me.
Drew, were you starstruck at all? We were speaking about this off camera and we started the segment with it, but meeting the Mannings and just being in that environment and having that experience?
Yeah, it was definitely really cool to meet those guys, and you meet them and they have this big name and you see them all over TV, but they're just normal people at the end of the day. And so to meet them and them all be so nice and welcoming and just normal people at the end of the day was really awesome to see that and just learn as much as I can from them.
I mean, just looking at that list of quarterbacks that were at the Admitting Passing Academy, it is a who's who of college football quarterbacks. What's your favorite memory or, relationship that you built in your time there with one of the other guys?
Yeah, I think, being from Austin myself, I got to meet Arch and throw with Arch. And so to be around a guy that has been hyped up as much as he has I mean, since he was on the high school scene, and just to see how he works and see how, he goes about having all that hype. He's just a normal guy that has that hype around his name and wants to be good at football. And so I think it's really cool being around him and obviously all the rest of those guys on that list and just seeing how we all just love football and like to go out there and compete.
Drew, I know this is happening really fast. You have a great opportunity in front of you here at Oklahoma State and even to be a potential first rounder. If you could go back to high school, for you being on the bench, what would you tell yourself about the future that would maybe put you a little bit at ease or calm you?
Yeah, I think I'd probably just tell myself to keep working. I think, I wouldn't be in this spot if I, kind of took days off and, thought I was gonna make it somehow, even though you got to think that like it's not just gonna happen out of luck. Like you got to put in the work and be ready for every opportunity that comes at you. And I think that's really what my mindset was on the whole time is being ready for that opportunity when it does come. And so I'd probably just tell myself, keep working and be ready whenever you get that chance and make the most of it.
I don't know if you saw this, Drew, but Kevin Jennings, starting quarterback at SMU, just had a building named after him on SMU's campus. It's the Kevin Jennings Recovery Center. If there were to be a building named after you on Oklahoma State's campus, what building would you want it to be?
Wow. I don't really know, honestly. I feel like maybe the practice facility, because that's where I spend most of my
That's a good
time.
one.
I don't really venture too far outside of the facility here on campus. So I guess the practice facility would be pretty cool.
That's a good
Or
one.
this
Better
room
than
that
like a
you're in right
bathroom.
now.
Yeah, or this room. This room's pretty sick. I'd take this room for sure.
That is awesome.
Drew, we told you that we had CJ Carr on, and we asked him about if he did anything fun this weekend, or not this weekend, this summer. And he told us about surfing for the first time. What did you do this summer outside of football related activities? Maybe it was with your guys, but did you try anything new this summer? Any fun activities?
I don't know if I tried anything new, but my go-to over the summer is definitely getting out on the lake and wake surfing. And whenever I go back home, go back to Austin, I love getting out on the lake with my boys and surfing and just hanging out and enjoying the weather and enjoying the lake.
Did you and your team do any like team building things this summer? Did you get to bring some of your teammates out to the lake?
Not, I didn't back in Austin, but we definitely hung out here in Stillwater, and Stillwater's not a huge town to go do a bunch of things. So we've definitely been having the guys over, going out in the pool and whatever and hanging out there. So it's been fun, getting the guys together and just bonding really. And honestly, I think that helps bring the team together.
Your surfing skills on a scale of 1 to 10 are what, Drew?
Let's see. I mean, I can definitely get up and hold my own, but I'm not doing anything special out there. So I'd say about a 5 or 6.
I can't even get up or hold my own. So just getting up itself is wildly impressive to me. No need to hang 10 or do any sort of fancy tricks. So last season, of course, fell short of Oklahoma State fans' expectations. You weren't there. But I think what caught people by the storm, what went crazy viral on social media, was the shirts off section at Boone Pickens. I mean, people taking their shirts off, waving it around. Are you wanting fans to recreate the shirts off section and bring it back this year for you and your team?
I mean, honestly, whatever gets the fans hyped and gets them together, I'm good with. I think as long as the fans are riding behind us, I think, we'll do anything out there to make them happy. And it's funny because North Texas actually tried to do that too, but it was nothing like what's going on at Oklahoma State. So honestly, whatever the fans, bring up in the middle of the game, it always gets the players hype.
Drew, you were telling us earlier about taking that step up in competition. Wondering how you treated this offseason, if you did anything differently mechanics wise, just to know that, okay, this is going to be a different type of ball game.
Yeah, I kind of went back and watched the film of me last year, and there were definitely some times I could have cleaned up my mechanics. I got a little sloppy there in the pocket, just mechanics wise, and I think just trying to stay efficient and really just get the ball out on time, especially with these DNs here in the Pac-12. I mean not the Pac-12, the Big 12. I'm sorry. We just with how good the edges are in the Big 12, I think getting the ball out quick and really just getting through my reads and seeing things pre-snap so I can almost, expect what's coming and then try to react quicker off of that.
Drew, it has been an absolute blast getting to know you and getting to watch you last year at North Texas. So excited to see what you do at Oklahoma State this season. Enjoy the rest of the offseason and good luck against Tulsa week 1.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all for having me.
Awesome.
Anytime.
Thanks, Drew. Drew Mestemaker hanging out with us here on the show. I need college football, but there's also other sports things that we need. I'll explain coming up next.
sister told me, be careful what you wish for because you might get it. I did. And now it's about, well, what goals are, what's left on the table? I want Street Fighter to be a massive success. I want to do more Guile, but also I want to do more film. I want to do more TV. There's seats on, on the Georgia political scene that are open. Is that a road? Or is this the road to stay with something I love so much like wrestling? And I love this. I don't know how I'd say bye to it.
Sharks down 10. Third down and 10 from the 19. Edwards steps up. Now he's in trouble. And Edwards sacked. Back at the 17. And once again, it's Devontae O'Malley. And flipped into the end zone. Touchdown. A thing of beauty. DeLaurent from Murray with a late pitch over the top, end over end, and a Pirates touchdown.
If you are a check writer at one of these places that has achieved success historically in college football, and you are ideologically opposed to your check going directly to Rev, to paying the players, with the ideology of, well, we didn't have to do this back when. When you hear we didn't used to have to do this amongst boosters, go ahead and order the gravestone for your football program.
Still Barnes in there. No Jared Ware on this drive yet. Roberts against the blitz, goes to the end zone for Keon Williams. Easy as you like. 16-yard touchdown.
There's Keon Williams. Tried to go to him in the last drive on that fourth down play to the end zone. Good defense by Orlando, but that time able to shake free to the corner.
The breakout star, if you want to call it that, of the 2024 Paris Olympics is among 3 subjects in the next run of Netflix's Untold documentaries returning next month. Other documentaries featuring Vince Young and Mr. T will also air on the streaming platform. Justin, if you would have asked me what do Ray Gunn, the Australian breakdancer, Mr. T, and Vince Young have in common, I would have never have been able to come up with any sort of similarity between those 3. All 3 will be represented on Netflix's Untold series, which, let me just say, I have loved those series in the past. They've done one on Johnny Manziel, on the Florida Gators football team when they were winning championships with Urban Meyer. Manti Te'o, they've done a fantastic job. But in honor of all 3 of these documentaries coming out, our production team has come up with a few more sports documentaries that we could see in our future. So we'll do our best to kind of give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Are we loving this? Do we need this? We ready for this? We ready for our Yahoo Sports
I'm
Daily
afraid what the
docuseries
team
that
has
we
come
made?
up with.
I am too, but intrigued. Scared,
Let's do it.
but intrigued. Drum roll, please. Our docuseries reveal number 1. Oh, I need this. I need this like a fish needs water. I need the first-hand account of the Positivity Bunny. I need to hear from inside the Eagles facility, from the Positivity Bunny's perspective. Justin, how do we feel on this one?
As an Eagles fan, I would certainly sign up for this documentary, whether it's on Yahoo or Netflix. I'd be one of the first people locking in. This will be appointment television. And maybe this Positivity Bunny can let us know about Nick Sirianni's use of AI and if he's transferred from ChatGPT to Claude, which I think is a better system. But he would also have a sit-down interview with A.J. Brown. This would be enticing. I think this would be really exciting. A lot of people would be locked in for this doc, Eagles or non-Eagles fans.
The Positivity Bunny has probably seen some things. I do love that we got a wardrobe change from the Positivity Bunny, though. So he went from, all decked out in his little Easter overalls into an Eagles jersey. Well, I knew it was only about time. However much time you spent in Philadelphia. At some point, you're going to get yourself in some Eagles gear, of course.
I will say, I'm not trying to kill the Positivity Bunny, but I will say that its life expectancy will be very short if it steps outside of Philadelphia. As someone that went to school there, worked in that market for a little bit, it's a blue collar town. You have to get with it. And I'm not sure if positivity would be able to be infectious. And yeah, the bunny, it may be short-lived. Let's just put it like this, Caroline. For those that are young enough to remember, as the old fable or history told us, that Philadelphia is also the same city that threw things at Santa Claus during Christmas. So if they would throw things at Santa Claus, who old Saint Nick is supposed to be the most joyous of people, the positivity bunny, it might get popped. I mean, Roger Rabbit, I don't know.
With the positivity, but he's sensitive. He's inflatable.
So are
Maybe
Eagles
like
fans.
Deflategate too. Yeah. I just want to say, I will never get over the positivity bunny. Like, the positivity bunny lives rent-free in my mind all the time. I think about it every single day because it is so ridiculous and so obscene that we have an NFL locker room with an inflatable bunny to try and fix the vibes. Like, what in the world are we doing here? It just kind of proves that the NFL world that we live in is not real. This is just absolutely perfect. So I am here for the untold stories of Philadelphia's positivity bunny. But let's see what we've got next. Our second documentary or docuseries that we don't know that we need, but we need. Oh, we need these.
Oh my gosh.
We need this. Jordan Rules. It's so good.
Wow. This actually, I would love for this to be real. I mean, I would be locked in. We've heard of GOATs. We've spoken about a few of them on today's show. Steph, LeBron, they ain't got nothing on Jordan. Like,
Nothing
I'm
on
telling you,
Jordan.
she the GOAT of GOATs, sending out emails on his man's behalf, having hold LLCs. Like, she is the GOAT, shutting down CBS This Morning interviews. I also want to know if we can get the true story about that interaction on the plane and her thesis or theology paper, whatever was taking place when they first crossed eyes and they really hit it off. Oh man, I would love this in a heartbeat. You talking about appointment television? Forget about the bunny, positivity bunny. This right here. Oh, I'm locked in. I don't know about you, Caroline. Like, this needed to drop yesterday.
I also need this like a fish needs water. If Jordan is so just willing to air all of their dirty laundry on social media to the point where she's screenshotting emails and posting them and posting passive aggressive posts and commentary on her social media, like, she hasn't held back in the past. It loves to troll. She loves to be the number one topic of conversation. So she's just doing that on her Instagram and on her Instagram stories. You don't think she's gonna let it fly when there's a camera and a microphone in front of her? I mean, this woman has turned Bill Belichick into a distraction to his own football team. Bill Belichick, he invented the Patriot way. He invented no one person is bigger than the team. He invented no distractions off the field. Like, Bill Belichick was the brainchild for football, like, football guy. This woman has been able to rewire the brain of Bill Belichick to be on board for off-the-field extracurriculars. What can't she do? Jordan Hudson for president, honestly.
Anything is possible, as KG once said. I just saw the movie Odyssey, so maybe I'm really feeling like Greek mythology. But Helen of Troy ain't got nothing on Jordan.
Nothing.
You talk about armies being sent out on the behalf of a woman. Well, football, in many ways, they feel like it's a battleground. This man that once, as you perfectly eloquently said, tells everybody about distractions, and he turns himself into one at this stage of his career. And also for this documentary, I know you mentioned the one about the Florida Gators. Honestly, I thought the Florida Gators one, it was kind of a low lift or light lift. I didn't hear from the people that I really wanted to. Obviously, you can't hear from Aaron Hernandez, but I wanted to hear from Percy Harvin. I wanted to hear from the Pouncey twins. There are so many subjects that Riley Cooper, Cam Newton even, who also got kicked out for reportedly stealing a laptop. There were so many people that could have been interviewed. I thought that was more of a gloating thing. So back to this documentary. If we're going to interview people, I need Jordan's parents to be interviewed. I need people part of her friend circle. I need Bill's friends to also be interviewed about the romance. Like if they've been on group trips, I need all the details. I need the juice.
Don't hold anything back. You're so right. The Florida one was kind of a puff piece. They kind of made Urban Meyer out to be like this, oh, shucks, just good old boy coach who's just trying to help his players. Like, no, Urban, we all remember. We all were there. Let's keep it going because the production staff has been absolutely undefeated in their first 2 documentaries. Lemon Pepper Lou.
Yes.
Untold stories.
Lou Will.
The path from Magic Kingdom to Magic City. That's incredible. Just keep the magic going, Lou.
Kudos. So for those watching, let's make sure that they're very familiar with this story and give them the full context. There was a bubble season. A championship was won by the LA Lakers, but specifically with the LA Clippers and Lou Will. Lou Will got an excuse to leave the bubble. And during that time, he got the excuse because he wanted to go to a funeral for a family member. And once he left that funeral, he thought it'd be a good idea to pull up to Magic City. For those that also aren't aware about Magic City, it's a staple in Atlanta. It's an adult entertainment, a gentleman's club. That's a better way to elaborate and say what it is. But it also has amazing wings, specifically lemon pepper wings. But if you're still not following the story, he went to a strip club after a funeral during the pandemic and then went back to the NBA bubble. You talk about sit-down interviews. I mean, we got to go to the gentleman's club. I mean, Caroline, like we got to speak to who gave him the lemon pepper wings. We got to interview the cook. We got to interview everybody.
I have never had the lovely opportunity of trying Magic City wings, but I want that to be part of my docuseries experience, is getting to try some. Because any man who is willing to risk it all, because the NBA bubble was, I mean, it was a tight ship. Like you couldn't even walk out the front doors to go pick up a DoorDash order. So if you're willing to risk it all for these wings and maybe some extracurriculars, I don't know, I don't care, I'm not a cop, then like they have to be really good. Like they better be life-changing if you're willing to risk everything and pull it all out there on the line for a couple of lemon pepper wings. I've had some life-changing wings. I get it, Lou. I really do. All right, let's
let
wrap
the
it up
record
with
show the
our...
Knicks also had lemon pepper wings and won a championship, and they beat Atlanta. So we speak about life-changing.
Maybe that's the secret sauce, literally and figuratively. All right, let's wrap it up with our final Photoshop from the production staff. Let's see it. Yes. Actually, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Joey Chestnut gives me I admire him and the success and the greatness. He's the GOAT, no doubt. That's right. That's correct. Just his face gives me like a physical, like visceral reaction. I cannot watch the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest because I will be hurling and heaving in the corner. So I get why we need this, but I will not be watching it.
Yeah, Caroline, we're both on the same boat. So essentially we're 3 or 4. I'm not watching this. I'm good. I respect it. I think that he does have a talent and he does train for this and he does have athlete aspects to him, but I don't need to know because, have you ever seen the documentary when we were in high school, Super Size Me?
I did. That's another one.
It was nasty. Exactly.
Gross.
That was a nasty documentary about McDonald's and this guy that was doing the most. That is what this would remind me of. So I'm good. Untold.
Yeah.
I don't need it. Don't tell me.
I'm good on that. Also, we just showed the video of Joey Chestnut doing the halftime show performance at a Charlotte FC game. My husband was there last night, and he said he was going to see Joey Chestnut. He didn't say he was going to the Charlotte FC game. The Charlotte FC game was just supplementary to the Joey Chestnut halftime show. Incredible work by our production staff. An incredible show today here on Yahoo Sports Daily. We'll be back right here tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. See you then.